I was driving back home from my grandma's house on Thanksgiving last year. It's about a 45-minute drive, which isn't too bad if you ask me. It is totally worth seeing my family and being able to pick out on whatever my grandma makes everyone for dinner. I had a great time there, and everything went well. The food was amazing just like it always was, and I love being able to see my family. So it was just your average Thanksgiving, or actually, maybe not so much, because something horrible happened to me on my way home from leaving my grandma's. On my way to my grandma's house, just about as soon as I got into the car and started heading that way, I realized I was really low on fuel, and that I should probably stop and get some gas. I was feeling lazy, so I decided I was just going to wait and get some gas at a gas station nearby my grandma's house. I don't know why, but it must have completely left my mind, because I had forgotten that I was supposed to get gas when I got close to my grandma's. It wasn't until I arrived at my grandparents' house that I realized I had totally forgot to get gas. It's okay, I thought to myself. I'll just get gas first thing when I leave, on my way home. I was sure I had at least 30 miles before I ran completely out of fuel, and there was a gas station maybe only 10 miles away. I had an old 2001 beat-up Silverado that had been put through hell by its last two previous owners, with over 275,000 miles on it. And I guess the fuel gauge wasn't as accurate as I thought it would be, because on my way home, my truck completely stalled. I tried to call my grandma, but I wasn't getting any service. She lived kind of in the middle of nowhere, and I was even more in the middle of nowhere now, it felt like, being parked off on the side of the road with no means of transportation, other than my own 2 feet. And with no way of calling anyone, I was quite desperate. Luckily, I had a gas can in the back of my pickup. Of course it didn't have gas, but it was good that I had it, because with that, at least I could walk up to the nearest gas station and fill it up with gas, and then walk back to the truck, fill the truck up, and then I would be on my way. It was pretty late though, and it was dark, and there weren't many houses around, so it was really creepy. I must have had a 3-mile walk, I estimated. Maybe after 15 minutes of walking, a truck rolls up behind me. Old Faithful broke down on you, huh? Hey bud, why don't you hop in? I'll take you to the gas station. No thank you sir, I said. I politely declined, but the man seemed to take offense to it. Are you kidding me? You're just gonna walk up there when I'm offering you a ride? What do you think I'm going to do? Try and hurt you or something? He asked. No, you see, he cut me off and said, just get in the truck. Unless you really want to walk another 45 minutes to the gas station and at least an hour back, I could have you back here to your truck in less than 10 minutes, he said. Somehow he convinced me to get in the truck. Man, I really wish I never would have though, because I almost died that night. You see, my grandparents lived in a nice area, but they have been hearing things in the news about people going missing lately. So I was really skeptical about it. This man wouldn't take no for an answer, and I was feeling really lazy. He did a really good job at convincing me to get in, because I went against my gut feeling, which I never do. When I got in the truck, he was reassuring me that he wasn't just some weirdo, and that he really just felt like doing a good deed because he had nothing better to do anyways. That made me feel a bit better for a brief moment, but it didn't take long before I realized something was terribly wrong. I couldn't even make out what he was saying anymore. He started like mumbling to himself over and over, and I asked if he was okay, but he didn't answer me. Only a minute or so after that, he drove right past the gas station where we were supposed to be stopping at. Hey man, you passed the gas station, I said. That's when he looked at me directly in my eyes and said, you don't make the rules here. I do. Now shut your mouth if you want everything to be okay. I'm going to tell you right now that you're going to do everything I say, or things are going to end very badly for you. I started freaking the hell out and screaming at him to pull over and let me out. He was screaming at me, telling me to shut up over and over again. I tried to open the door, and my plan was that I was going to jump out when he started slowing down, like towards a turn or a stop sign, but I couldn't get the door opened, and I couldn't see to find the door handle because it was so dark. I realized that the door had been rigged and tampered in such a way that you can only open it from the outside. Luckily, I keep pepper spray on me for protection. I knew it was risky to pepper spray someone while they were driving, but clearly I was running out of options. I sprayed him, and then we started swerving. I tried to steer the wheel the best I could to make sure that when we stopped or crashed, that I would be as safe as possible. I braced myself the best I could, and we crashed right into a ditch, straight into a small tree. I hit my head on the passenger window pretty hard, and I felt a bit disoriented for a moment. When I became fully aware of what was going on again, I started panicking even more. Luckily, the man was knocked out cold, and I was able to crawl over him and get out of the driver's side door. I grabbed my gas can and ran as fast as I could for like a mile back to that gas station where we were supposed to stop at and get gas. I ran all the way there without stopping for a single breath. I was really out of shape at the time, and I have never ran like that in my life. But you'd be surprised at what you're capable of when your survival instinct kicks in. When I got there, I told the cashier what was going on and that I needed to use a phone to call the police. The police showed up in a matter of minutes and drove me back to my car. They made sure I didn't need medical assistance before letting me off on my way. I gave the best description to the police that I could, in hopes it would help to find the man. Apparently the truck was still there, but he was gone. The truck he was in was actually stolen, so they still have no idea who he was. I really hope they find him though, before he can hurt somebody else.